Hi there, everyone. Welcome to our Wellness Unlocked.
Let us
Woo!
unlock our wellness. There is something about that title that grounds me. Our wellness unlocked. It looks like wellness was locked. And I'm not sure who locked wellness.
Yeah,
Looks like wellness was locked, and
yeah,
let us unlock it
yes.
one step at a time.
One step at a time. I think that's true, Mercy. I mean, we lock a lot of stuff just to get through the day. We have so many things we're doing. We're going here, going there, all that shenanigans. So I think sometimes we do lock it, and finding the key to unlock it is being intentional, reminding us of what we want to do to make sure that we function the best we can, even with everything around us that we have to do.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you said that the best we can because
yeah.
it's always a lot going on, and we may have the good intentions and we may have the good ingredients, but we are still not well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad to see our people coming and watching us. And just a recap, I'm Angela. I am a mental health therapist and I have a practice in Euless, Acacia Counseling. And I'm so happy that you came to join us today on our talk about wellness.
I am Mercy. I don't know. Sometimes I forget my name because I just say I am all mercy. Okay, I am mercy with all mercy psychiatry and integrative care. I don't think there's a better place than this to talk about wellness. We go down, we thought about the nitty gritty, we are transparent, we are open. Last week, sorry about last week, we we were not fully well.
Exactly.
And I'm
Exactly.
glad you grounded me because I still wanted to come. You're like, no, lady, you are going to postpone or delay your wellness if you push
Exactly.
it, if you force it. And I'm glad
Exactly.
you say that. How many times do we force our wellness thinking we are well when all we needed to do is take that time, regroup,
Yes.
rest, and get well quicker than
Exactly.
compensate other things and then still stay unwell. So
Exactly.
I'm glad you caught me on that one.
It is important. I think sometimes we want to push ourselves because of our obligations, because of our desires, because people are depending on us. And one thing I say a lot to people in general is that's all great, but if you can't depend on you and if you're not well, how well are you going to be for other people?
No, you're not going to be 100% well. And if you're teaching people how to be well, can
Hmm.
you practice wellness
Hmm.
as well? Because
Exactly.
I can understand better when I see your actions, not just your theory. Sometimes
Yes.
I just need to see it and emulate what you're doing and feel
Mhm.
well, not just by listening to all the preachings that you have to say, oh, do this to get well, but you're not doing it yourself. So I am well
Exactly.
now.
Yay. Glad to hear that. Well, everyone, we are going to talk about how to implement your wellness. And, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the wellness wheel and we gave you examples of our own wellness wheels and our struggles and what we've learned along the way. And today, we're actually going to talk about some ways to actually implement it in some step by step processes to
Mhm.
do so that you can be able to have a better understanding, a better direction, and create goals for that. And we'll give you some examples on how we're doing it so that, like Mercy said, we are transparent and we are trying to be well together because truly wellness begets wellness. And if we're well, and if it's well in you, it'll be well around you. People will see that. Remember,
Mhm.
people do what you do, not necessarily what you say
What
to
you
do.
say them. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And implementing wellness can be an ongoing journey. It's not a one-day journey.
Absolutely.
It can be ongoing, but once you build that routine around small consistency, remember routine, consistency, actions is not just in the head.
Mhm.
Routine, consistency, actions. Then
Mhm.
you can consider how you want your wellness journey you would like.
Right. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to remember that it doesn't look one way all the time. And being consistent doesn't mean I have to do it like this every day. Being
Hmm.
consistent means we're just doing it.
Yes, yes. And this week, my biggest challenge that I have had, I did not even realize that I had had until I got physically unwell and could not do them. Then I'm like, oh, but I even feel good. I have time. It was with boundaries, Miss Angela. It was boundaries.
Mhm.
Because I
Yeah.
got unwell and I had to forcefully create some of the boundaries to get well. I realized that I could continue with some of those boundaries to stay well. Hmm. Not just for when I was unwell, but
Yeah.
I could continue with some of those boundaries to stay well. And
Yeah.
some of those boundaries was with myself, making the choices of how do I want to feel, of what do I want to think, of who do I want to allow in my space at what time. Because we have control over certain things. It's not everything that we do not have control over. So
Yes.
those boundaries that I was able to make when I was unwell because physically I could not do it.
Mhm.
I realized that I could maintain those boundaries to stay well. And boundaries doesn't just mean that, oh, now I am strong, I have these
Yeah.
boundaries, I can do XYZ because I am prioritizing this. And it boundaries mean sometimes it's not all about prioritization,
Mhm.
about just accepting the limitation and said, okay,
Exactly. Exactly.
I will not let this bother me.
Yeah.
This is the space, and I have the ability to choose who is in that space with me.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
the boundaries, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's so important, Mercy. I'm glad you said that because when we talk about boundaries, boundaries are so abstract in a sense and then so specific. And we'll definitely add that to one of our podcasts as boundaries. But in that, there's multiple. And I think sometimes people think, oh, physical boundaries, like I'm somewhere and somebody's too close and I can move away. But physicals in your space, time boundaries, emotional boundaries. So, not just the external of other people, but what are your internal boundaries? And
yeah,
that is what contributes so much to our wellness.
yes, yes. Yesterday morning, was it yesterday or Friday morning? I just felt down for some reason, and maybe because I have been ill and I am getting better, taking medication and stuff like that. But I just felt low, like low. Then I started asking myself, are my kids okay? Is my house okay? Did I
Mhm.
eat? Did I sleep? And I checked all the boxes. It was yes, yes, yes. Then I'm asking me, why do I feel down? Why do I feel low? And I said, guess what? You're going to feel okay. I had to set boundaries with that feeling. Like you're not going to extend through this day. You're not even going to extend through this hour. I'm
Mhm.
going to catch it. And I was able to do that. Like, can I just smile for no reason? Can I just think of a happy thought that will make me happy?
Mhm.
I just do something that will make. I think I even sent you some stuff that I
Yep.
was.
Yep. Yep. She did. She sent me her table. I was like, oh my God, it looks so good. I was so proud of her.
I did something to make me happy. And that was me telling that emotion that I was feeling like, you're not going to get the best of me today. I don't even know why you are here. I am not entertaining you into this space. No, no, not today, not now, no.
Yeah.
And I realized that because I was doing things that makes me happy and I was communicating with some people who happy communication that I don't feel drained, like
Mhm.
nothing in my life had changed, but I was able to change that emotion.
Yes.
So
Yes.
boundaries, even internally with myself, I was happy about
Yes.
that.
And I think that's so important. And I know we're on the heels of a big election that had a lot of people feeling many ways. And one of the things that I worked with a lot of my clients on this week and myself is feeling the feelings, right? there's no right or wrong feeling. There's not a negative emotion. There's not a feeling. You get to feel how you want to feel. The issue comes in our outcome when we now express an emotion in a negative way towards people. We're yelling or cussing or just being ugly to people. And I think when we realize, like Mercy said, I'm off, I need to protect my space. Those are the times when we look at that internal self and say, hey, where am I at? Check in with myself. How am I feeling? Am I a little discombobulated? Do I need to call off work? And I know that's hard because we got bills, right? We have people relying on us no matter what your job is. But if you're not relying on you and
Our
you're not well,
patients who are already scheduled, who have taken off their own job to be with you
exactly,
at that time.
1000%. And the thing is, though, if we show up in that form in whatever job you have, knowing that I'm not well, then you're going to cause harm to other people. Maybe not intentionally and not maliciously, but I don't have nothing to give you. And this was a conversation I had with clients all week when they're like, Angela, I don't know what to do. Or Angela, what do you think? I'm like, me either. We're all just feeling the feels. And this is all we need to do. Put your feet up. Like Mercy, she redid her table, right? I was shredding paperwork, you guys. I had stuff from when my kids were in kindergarten. He's 29, right? So I'm like, why do I have this report card, sentimentals? And my sons were like, why do you have that? And so those type of things that I was just dispensing energy. I did a lot of stretching, right? I didn't feel like working out. I'm not going to lie. My physical wellness, I didn't feel like doing anything. But you know what? I was like, let me stretch. Let me pick up these boxes and shred stuff. So I was actually moving my body in a sense where I didn't even think like, oh, I didn't go to the gym, but like, girl, you're moving boxes of paperwork and shredding and filling up trash cans and taking them downstairs and those things. So in times where you're even unsure or feel hopeless or helpless, I really can't do anything. No, you can do something for your wellness that's in your control.
Mhm.
So many things are out of our control, but sitting there, listening to music, taking some deep breaths, right? Cooking a good meal, those are things you can control.
Right. You said something very important though, that sometimes we are unwell. And listen, guys, it may not just be being physically unwell. You said sometimes we are unwell, and if we push it and still entertain
Mm-hmm.
other people in our spaces, those people
Mm-hmm.
become unwell as well. Mine was physical unwellness with a bad cold, horrible cold. Let's say I had pushed it and see patients. I maybe have been wearing a mask, but
Mm-hmm.
it disturbs that communication flow that we have used to been having. And what if that patient leaves and gets some of my illness?
Mm-hmm.
How have I helped that patient?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it may not be physical, it may just be with our mood. Have you listened sometimes to somebody with they just pour everything and drain you, and at the end of it, you don't feel like you helped them.
Right.
They feel
Right.
more angry for you, and it should be
Right.
the other way around.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, I think you can probably, Mercy, if you think back, I'm going back to our hospital days, and we can walk in a meeting room or in the hallway and you just feel the energy and you're like, oh, I do not want to go in this meeting. I do not want to meet in this group room. Oh, right. Because there's just some negative things and spirits and energy from people that are bringing everything down. And it only has to be one person, y'all, one person. And we know we've been in family situations, friend environments, work environments, and we're just like, oh, bro, why? Like,
Exactly.
it's exhausting.
Very exhausting. Very
Yeah.
exhausting. And
Yeah.
in all that, let's see the other way of it. In all that,
Mhm.
somebody would be like, well, it's not the end. Who wants some this? Who wants some?
Right.
And it also changes the mood in the room.
Mhm. Mhm.
It also
Mhm.
changes the
Mhm.
emotion. It changes the mood in the room. So how do we want to present ourselves?
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
do we want to
Mhm.
stay well? Let's talk about some of the
Yep.
ways, different ways. How do we want to implement
Yeah.
our wellness?
Yes. Yes. So one of the things that I talk to Mercy about, and this is the thing I do not only with clients but with myself. There's something in reality therapy. In reality therapy comes in to talk about choice, and we do have choices, even in the worst case scenario. I used to do a lot of work with active military that were tired of being in the military for whatever reason and struggling and wanted to get out. And we talk about what's in your control, and they felt like nothing because they have to go where they're supposed to, they have to do what they're supposed to. And I went to basic level stuff like, well, you do have control of the toothbrush you buy. You do have control over if you eat in the mess hall or not. You do have control over the toothpaste you buy. And it seemed very remedial. Like those are small things, but it's truly helps when it feels like I have no choices. So when we talk about wellness and looking at that, it comes into that reality therapy to say, where's my choice? And
Mm-hmm.
something, a framework to look at is called WDEP, and that is wanting, doing, evaluating, and planning. Okay. And so we're going to look at that and use that in order for us to start to build some steps that are realistic and
Yes.
more simple because we don't want to make things complicated. Our life is complicated, right? So, how can we make this simple? And in that, we're going to build that. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, let's start with the W. Marcy, I'm going to use you as an example. So, if we look back, we had Michael on last time who did an amazing job talking about where he wanted his wellness to go and some things that he was at top and okay with, and some things he was lower and okay with. So, Marcy, I want you to think of one of your areas. It doesn't matter, and just tell me what you want from that area.
I want. Okay, let me go back to where I failed in my wellness wheel last time. Not
Okay.
where I failed, where I was down in my wellness
There we
wheel.
go.
Not failed. Remember, some words can be encouraging and some words can be
Absolutely. There's power in words.
the power of words. So let me go back to where I fell short last time. I fell short in my social wellness. My social wellness was flat, lacking, not there. So for my W, I would want to be able to reciprocate, to return calls, to be there for people like they've been for me, especially during happy or sad events,
Okay.
to not
Oh,
just be busy all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
I will want that. That will be my W for
That will
today.
be your W. I
I
love that.
want that.
So when we look at the want part, right, we're looking at what is the goal? What would we like to improve on, right? Because we didn't do bad. It's just life. Things are things. So what is it that I want as a human first to do better with? And so Mercy says she wants to reciprocate some of that support that she receives from others.
Mm-hmm.
So with
Oh,
that,
so well. I want to reciprocate some of that support that I receive.
okay,
Yes.
I love it. And
Yes.
so we're going to get even a little bit more specific. And here's the thing, I tell people all the time we say things amiss or we create goals amiss. Like we just say, oh, I'm going to do that. But there's no real plan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to lose weight. Well, there's a whole lot that goes into that, right? So when you talk about reciprocating that support, is it certain people? Is it certain times? Because I know you mentioned support, not less busy, hard things, maybe grieving. So where exactly, if you had to think about it, are there certain? Is it just friends I want to do? Is it more business work? Where is that?
No, no, no business work.
Yeah. Okay. So friends.
Friends and family.
Okay.
Friends
Okay.
and family.
Okay. So
Don't
I
worry.
want to
I
reciprocate.
can also do the check-ins myself, or I can return some of the support.
Okay.
I Yes, friends
Okay.
and family.
So I want to reciprocate some of that social support to friends and family. So
Mhm.
there's your want, you guys. So when you look at that want, we're very specific, kind of like those SMART goals, right? So here's what I want to do. So then we look at the doing. The A, we already know we're not doing as well as we like. So
Yeah.
we want to be realistic though, right? In the doing, knowing your schedule, knowing the time, what is it that you truly could do to change that?
I could truly rearrange my schedule,
Hmm.
that it's not like I am ignoring what I have to do for work,
Hmm.
but rearrange my schedule to make time. Even if I can say, okay,
Hmm.
I'm off on weekends,
Mm. Hmm.
maybe I have to wake up early to cook, to clean, to do
Yeah.
this. Then maybe by 4 p.m. I am done, and I'm like, okay, this 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. is time for friends. Because I
Okay.
believe that the way I operate most of the time, when I have a goal,
Hmm.
I tend to be very guided to to work towards that goal. And I can first of all communicate to that person
Hmm.
that I am so sorry, I am not ignoring you. My
Hmm.
schedule has just been messed up. I've been working with staff. Things have just been going on, but I am not ignoring you. But hey,
Hmm.
this 3 days from now, I'm free from this time to this time. How
Yes.
can I be of help? How
Hmm.
can I be of service? Is it just a
Hmm.
phone call? Should we just watch a
Hmm.
movie together? Should we just hang out for an hour? Should we just take a dinner
Yes.
somewhere? What would you
Yes.
prefer?
Yes. Yes. I love that. So
I
what
like
Mer-
that. I didn't even think about that.
See, this is what happens as we start to plan and make goals, right? And what I love about it in the doing, it's saying, I'm not taking away from the things that I have to do, right? That are already in the works. I'm adding to. So I'm moving some things around. And
Mm-hmm.
more importantly than everything is that communication piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'm communicating with myself and being realistic. Like, what time do I have? Like, truly.
Yes. Yes.
And then I'm communicating with them. So that doing part comes and says, what's the first step of that? Let me communicate to people. I'm not ignoring you. I appreciate you. Those words of affirmation. And here's the struggle. I've just been so busy. I wasn't feeling well. There's been so many things that I've neglected this, and
Yes.
I'm working to do better. So, in that communication, we have that. We're validating, we're letting people know, we're checking in with them. And then we say, so here's what I can give you because I want to be intentional about doing this. So, what does your life look like so we can connect?
Right. Right. And I can tell you ahead of time and with different choices, or I just leave it open. What would you like for us to do?
Yeah,
Bring your own choice to the table.
absolutely.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely. And in those things, it's saying, here's, I can give you an hour of my time virtually, or I can give you an hour of my time when I come to your house, or I'm going to make dinner for you, or whatever those things are. And especially when you have people that are different places, or you have family all over the world. I have family all over the world, right? So we have to be strategic and be respectful of their time frame. And they have stuff going on too. So, on that D piece, you guys, when we're talking about the doing, again, specific, I am going to validate and let them know, give them a heads up on what's going on there. I didn't just disappear,
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
that. And then communicate, here's what I can give and meet you in that way. And then we implement that once we have that conversation.
Yes.
And here's a piece I want you guys to know, it doesn't have to be like for Mercy, a long conversation. Because sometimes we get in and then we're talking, and now we've defeated the whole purpose. This initial conversation was just to give them a heads up, let them understand, validate that, and then make a plan.
Okay, plan.
Not to talk about our whole life and all the things,
Mm.
because now we're deviating from what the actual doing part of that plan is.
So, if I can come back to you, Miss Angela, I mean, now we are just being real. You're going to
Mhm,
help me fix
mhm.
this.
We're gonna make it better, right? We're not gonna fix.
You're
It's
gonna
not
help
broken, right? We're gonna make it better. Yeah.
I have established the want.
Hmm.
We have established the doing.
Hmm.
How will you evaluate that though?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. There's two ways that I look at. We're going to evaluate and saying, give yourself a time frame, a week, 2 weeks, however, to go back to it. And in 2 weeks, and that's not with anybody else. That's just internal. This is remember
Mm-hmm.
our boundaries, our wellness, our internal check-in to say, so in 2 weeks, I'm going to see how well did I do.
Mm-hmm.
Did I communicate? Did
Yeah.
I open myself up? Maybe they didn't get back to us. We can't control that. So
Right.
then it's like, okay, well, I communicated to four people. I planned with four people, and two of them didn't get back to me or didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean we hound them. That's not it. It
No.
means they have stuff, and when they are available, they'll reach out. That's okay. But I'm going to continue because these two worked. And then the second part, maybe for those two, maybe it didn't work because what you offered them wasn't available to
Not
them,
available to them. Mm.
right? So maybe it's saying back to, okay, well, what is will work for both of us because we're both super busy. We planned to go to dinner and it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just have a Zoom call and eat dinner together?
Right, and just look at each other and talk about. And you know what I also did? One of my I have someone who is in another time zone an hour
Mhm,
earlier than me. So
mhm.
her 8 o'clock is my 7 a.m.,
Yes.
which she do night and she's driving home. And it's
Mhm,
7 a.m. where I am either driving to work
mhm,
or getting ready for work if I'm working from home. So guess what I did? I used that time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get ready for work early, or and she
mhm.
free from this time to this time as she's driving home, and we could have that hour to reconnect.
I love it.
And I
I
did that,
love it.
and yeah, and I did that, and it worked.
Yeah, and it worked. And
Oh,
so we found the compromise. And in that, then we go to, so as we're evaluating, did it work? Do we want to continue that? Or do we want to redefine it or do something different, add to it, take away? That's how you evaluate what's working and what's not.
and what's not?
And
What's not?
that's collaborative with that person
Mhm.
because you were honest with them in the first
The
place. We
first place,
communicated
yeah,
that.
I did, I did. Then
Yeah.
with another person, it didn't work.
Mhm. It didn't work. And
No,
we evaluate and said, did it didn't work on me? Did I cancel? Did I not show up? Was my mood off and I just wasn't feeling it? And that's okay. There's not judgment there. But we do got to evaluate to say, what could I do different? And
yeah,
evaluation also, I think this is a big one, you guys, to remember in your evaluation stage, being honest and saying, is this relationship or this goal or this situation, is it healthy and should I continue anyway?
it,
Sometimes we try to force situations in relationships.
and it makes you feel bad, especially when the other person does not understand,
Mhm,
or or maybe does not understand, cannot understand, especially when you guys live in two different worlds.
mhm,
Because you
mhm,
just feel
mhm,
like,
mhm.
yes, you're busy, but you cannot be too busy for me.
Right,
And
right.
drains
Yeah,
me like, can
yeah.
she can she understand?
Yes, yes. And we got to, that's where we evaluate. Is it that they don't understand and I've explained it to them, or do they just think they're above that? One of my sons was very good. He'll text or call, and I'm like, I'm in session or something. And when I call him back, he's like, so you don't love me anymore. He's joking. He's like, I don't care what you're doing. I'm your son. And I'm like, well, I got other things to do. And although he's joking, some people really believe that. They
Some people,
believe that they're the priority.
yeah, some people really believe that. Then another person did me good, like just took their 1 month schedule, because their schedule change every month according to what they are doing. Just took their 1 month schedule, took a screenshot and sent to me and say, hey,
Yeah,
you may be available this time when I am not available, but I am available this time. Let's find a common ground.
yeah,
And
1000%.
beautiful. That way I'm looking at their schedule. Are they available? Are they up? Are they down?
Mhm.
Can I?
Yeah, yeah,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah.
And it's true, because people say you can never be too available for those you love. You can
Mhm.
always make time for those you love.
Yeah,
But remember, it's not just you making time. The time that you may be making, the other person may not be able to make that time. So it's
exactly.
part of you finding, first of all, understanding, respecting
Yes.
each other's time, and understanding that, okay, we are all grown. We are not little kids anymore.
Yes.
What that would
Yes.
have no responsibility. Now things just
Mhm.
fly all over the place. But
Mhm.
how do we, essentially, how do we develop that plan for a change, to be
Mhm.
well. We have we have talked about the want, we have talked about the doing, the action part of it. We have evaluated. What is the plan for change?
Yeah. The plan starts with knowing that we want to do something different, right? So it seems a little backwards, but now the plan we've already done, we've evaluated, and then the plan stage comes in to say, am I being true to me and them? Am I doing this out of obligation? It starts to ask some different questions to say, do I continue with this or do I revise my plan? Have
Right.
I achieved this want and now I'm done with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's now a habit. I'm consistent and I don't need to have it in this format anymore. It's like muscle memory. It's the back of my hand. We're all good, right?
Mm-hmm.
The plan is kind of that final acceptance piece, and we're good and done with it now. It's in there, it's ingrained in our memory. Everybody knows the deal. We're all on one page. We got this. And now we can say holistically, we resolved this goal and we have achieved it.
And we have to be realistic with it. I cannot fool myself
Mhm.
and think that I can do X, Y, Z, or I
Exactly.
cannot lie to you that
Mhm.
okay, yeah, okay, I'll be available that time. Then realize that I am not available that time.
Exactly.
You have to be realistic, and this want, doing, evaluate, planning
Mhm.
is a good guidance on
Mhm.
many levels on how
Yes.
you want to promote
Mhm.
or continue to go towards your wellness. It may
Yeah.
be physical fitness. Do you have anyone you want to share, Miss Angela? Yeah.
So for me, I do WDP often. It's so ingrained in me that I can do it off the top of my head, right?
Doing it.
So I've been doing it a long time. So one of the things I'm getting ready to do EMDR training, and that's eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I know it's a long word, y'all, but
Good.
it's a special it's a specialized training and it's a
So get
lot.
back to me for medication.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a lot, y'all. So if you
Patients,
ever thought about or interested in it, just know it's a lot, right?
I get so
And
many patients that do during EMDR, they just get exposed to so
oh,
much that they have to
yep.
come, they go in a crisis mode.
Yes. Yes. And so it's a lot. And so part of that training is I'm going to be in training on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all day.
Mhm.
And Thursdays and Saturdays are my busiest days because I'm in office,
Right.
right? So already adjusting. So the first part is I want to take this training, my associate. So I'm a supervisor, counseling supervisor, and I have an associate under me who has took the training and wanted, and we had talked about doing it together. Our schedules didn't align to do it together, right? So she started before me a little bit, and that's okay. It didn't align. We tried to plan and we tried to evaluate, it just wouldn't work. So knowing that I'm going to have adjust my schedule one. So I'm self-employed. So me adjusting my schedule means I don't make no money, but I'm paying out money because EMDR is not a cheap training.
Not at
Okay.
all.
At all. So now I'm wanting to do this thing that in the long run, long run, it will help because eventually I want to be a trainer in that.
Mhm.
And I do believe in it, but in the short term, it's going to cost me money and I'm going to lose money. It's two separate weekends like that,
And you want
right?
to make sure that you go through the training successfully.
Exactly. So not only that, but when I go, it just what Mercy said, I am very much the person that I have to pay attention. There's
Mhm.
some trainings we take as professionals. I don't care what profession you're in, that we know enough about the topic we can skim through. We didn't read all that book. We didn't read every page. Let's just be real. I don't know about you, but I did not read every book and all my degrees and certifications. I'm just saying, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I skimmed through, I'm like, oh, I got that. Da da da, right?
We are
But
still
in this,
we are practicing.
exactly, exactly, exactly. But in this, there's no skimming by. So it's a
No,
lot of information. So
very
in this want, I had to do and create a plan that's going to allow me, A, to still pay bills and eat, right? Because I'm losing money. It's
mhm,
still going to allow me to tend to the clients that I need to. And
mhm,
it's going to allow me to take time out of my schedule of all the things I do to study and prepare.
mhm.
So in that, the doing was adjusting my schedule, checking my finances, um, getting study time in, getting time to print all this stuff out, hundreds of pages. I had to go buy a binder, right? So there's actual steps that had to be taken to doing. And for me, in the evaluation time, what happened was I overestimated the amount of time I had, right? Because plug over here, Mercy and I are also doing a conference. You'll hear about that, keep talking about that, but in March. And so we have a lot of things we're doing there, along with our normal lives. So I overestimated, like, oh, I got this, and I
Holiday
got
coming.
behind. Yeah, I got behind in the reading. So I had to reevaluate. Then I had to replan and I had to start all over. The want never changed, right? The want was still wanting to do EMDR training.
Mm-hmm.
The doing was reevaluating my time. I implemented time blocking, which I use a lot. And time blocking is putting blocks on your calendar. So 10 to 12, I'm doing this. 12:30 to 1, I'm doing this. Truly being very intentional. And that's what worked for me. So the plan and the desired outcomes and the measure and all that. Now I'm on schedule to start the training and do what I need to do. But it took some evaluating because I wasn't being as honest. Yeah, I can do that, and I can meet you here, and I have supervision here, and then I'll have supervision with you here, and then I can see these clients. And then in the midst, too, we have this week of election that discombobulated my whole schedule, right? So it took time away. So I just had to reevaluate on yesterday some of those things, and that's okay. I have a plan, implementing, and things like that. So I do it all the time, y'all. I'm not somebody who just says stuff. I literally do what I'm saying. So that WDEP, I'm like, W was good, D was good, that didn't
Mm-hmm.
work.
Gotta
Back
check.
to scratch. But remember, the want never changes. Sometimes the want does change, but for me, it did not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
The want is there, is
Hmm.
how we want to go about and attain that one in a
Yeah.
way that we stay well. Because
Hmm.
if we don't handle the ones very well, the truth is that it may make you unwell. And the
Absolutely.
plan was to become well. If you don't,
Absolutely.
if you're not real with yourself and with your environment and with what you're supposed to do, she already knows that she will not be able to see some patients that day that she's doing
Hmm.
her want, she's implementing
Hmm.
her want. She's losing money. That would be
Hmm.
some sacrifice. How do you gain back, or how do you meet up with your objective
Hmm.
financially for this month?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's scheduling has been a challenge since the election results.
Hmm.
It, and again, you are you are bound to feel what you want to feel.
Yes.
We are
Mhm.
validating your feelings. There's no
Absolutely.
right or wrong way to feel. This is
Yes.
how it made you feel. It's
Hmm.
okay. Let's just see how we can make you feel well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's just
Hmm.
see how we can make you feel well.
Yeah.
So now you have re-evaluated. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do
Hmm.
I have to tweak certain things? Do I not have to tweak certain things? And now what is the plan?
Hmm. Exactly.
The planning. This is my first time I'm doing this model, the
Yeah.
WDEP model, and I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a practical and an easy way. And in the plan, one of the things is to make sure a lot of things we want may come with sacrifice, but we got to know what to sacrifice. So, like Mercy said, her social area she wants to work on, well, that can't be a sacrifice then, right? Because we don't sacrifice, we're trying to build.
I will be sacrificing my
Yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
more than my time because we are talking of support. Maybe more
Hmm.
than my time, I may be sacrificing my space,
Yes.
sacrificing more. And
Yes.
does it make me well or does it make me unwell? Will be
Exactly.
then I may have to reevaluate or
Absolutely.
ask the question: Who am
Yeah.
I? What is the target? Who am I doing
Exactly.
this for? And I was like, oh,
Exactly.
family and friends. That was an easy
Yeah.
answer. Family and
Yes.
friends, because you cannot just take their moments that you have to
Yes.
give back, and you may just be
Yes.
giving back 5 minutes of your time, 1 hour of your time, or just an ear to
Mhm.
listen.
Yes.
Yes, it's very
It's so
worth.
important. Yeah. And one of the things I will share with you guys, there's certain things to not sacrifice on and to have a hard boundary. And that's for you to figure out. For me, I don't sacrifice on my sleep. If I don't sleep well, this beauty turns into a beast, honey. I am not nice.
Fact.
I do not sacrifice on my sleep. If this world is burning down, Angela's gonna sleep, okay? And when I say world, my internal world, family, friend, look, I gotta go to
You're
sleep.
making me think, what do I not sacrifice?
You gotta not find, and that's okay. Find your hard line. I can't sacrifice this piece, but I can sacrifice over here, right?
I cannot, okay. I don't want to say I cannot.
Mhm.
I think I've sacrificed it.
I won't.
Words. I've
Mhm.
sacrificed it before, but
Mhm.
now I will not. Your
Yes.
own is sleep for now. My own right now, I will not sacrifice my peace.
Yes. There you go.
If
There you
it
go.
brings me, if it makes me feel, if after doing certain things or after talking with somebody or after being in somebody's space, and you don't lie to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
makes me
Yep.
feel on peace. I feel like I have been in the farm for 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
But I'll be true to myself, ask myself, why do I feel this way?
Right.
If there's that person that calls you and you look at that phone and be like, mm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mm.
Absolutely.
I was with my husband yesterday. We were talking about something, and my phone kept ringing. And my husband is like, "Pick up that phone." We both knew who was calling.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to that person, but not in the morning.
Right. Right.
He's
It's
like,
so funny you say that.
I said, "Oh, I will return that call, but
Yeah.
not in the morning. I will
It.
not
Yep.
because I know how my mood will go after talking with
Exactly.
the person.
Exactly.
Not in the morning. I'm fresh. I'm happy. I'm smiling. I'm sweating. Not in the morning. Not in the morning.
Absolutely.
I
And
will
that's
know
important.
when I can
Yeah.
handle that mood.
It is so, I love that. I am somebody that my phone goes on do not disturb every night, every day of the week from 10 to 8:30. Mercy is more of a morning person than me. She will text me and I will wake up and see messages from her. But if I see a message, whatever it is, I don't respond until I'm awake, right? And sometimes I wake up earlier and I'm doing something and that's okay. But I won't get a message except for emergencies, my kids, my mom, right? But outside of that, when I get there, I'll look at the messages, but I'm very, very particular on that do not disturb. And that was one of my time boundaries things that I did some years ago because my phone would just beep or ring, and things. And I'm like, who is calling me? And people know, my friends, of course, they know. They're like, oh, do not call Angela before. She is not. Or they'll send a message like, I know you're not seeing this yet. I know because we train people how to treat us. And people aren't malicious, but they do take advantage of it. Let's be real. So I sure do not sacrifice my sleep.
Well, you need to say that again. We train people how to treat us.
Absolutely. And so they expect you to be at their beck and call. And I don't know about you, but we have our phones and we have our email, and our emails are attached to our phones, our work email. I have my work phone and my business. Like all these things are so intertwined. And I'm like, why am I responding to your message that you sent at 11 p.m.? Because it's a crisis for you. And I'm not dismissing your crisis, but it's not a crisis for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We can wait. So when you say that, it is important and find those things to do to have that rigid boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Some boundaries may be a little bit more fluid. You may be a little open to time and okay, I'll come in 10 minutes early or I'll talk to you, stay up a little later. But certain things my do not disturb in my sleep, we don't play.
No, we don't play that. I'm
Hmm.
going to go back to what you said. We train people how to treat us. This emphasizes how our boundaries, our
Yeah,
actions, but guess what? Our reactions,
exactly.
others' behaviors towards us. If we're not
Absolutely.
consistent, if I tell you you will not get me at this time and you keep calling me at that time and I keep picking up,
Mm, ex-
I am saying
exactly.
something, I'm practicing something else.
Exactly.
If I tell you
Exactly.
you will not get me at this time, maybe you
Yeah.
call me one time at that time, and I'm like, maybe she knows I'm not available at this time, and she's calling. Maybe it is an emergency, and I pick up. And I
Absolutely.
say, hi, how are you doing? How was your night? Hi, no, 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 no. Okay,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
doing that, then I am training you that I am not available at this time, but I'm
Yeah,
available for you. That's the miscommunication. That's the mix
exactly.
up. What am I trying to do?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it is not just our boundaries or our actions,
Hmm.
but our reactions that will
Hmm.
shape others' behavior towards us. So
Hmm.
I'm glad that you said we train people
Yes,
how to treat us. Because if we are not consistent, others will you
exactly.
let others disrespect what you're trying to implement.
Hmm.
That will
Hmm.
be well for you. Because if
Yeah.
you're not modeling what you want to do or modeling positive interactions, then you're telling people not to model that positive interactions again.
Hmm.
If you're
Hmm.
not respecting your own boundaries, then you're teaching others not to respect those boundaries as well.
Exactly.
So don't complain.
Exactly.
And not only that, when you're not reacting excessively, someone can overstep your boundary and you react
Hmm.
excessively and express your feelings like,
Yeah.
I'm not available at this time. I picked up because I thought it was an emergency. Because did you really just call to say, hey,
Yeah.
not
Right. Yeah.
I find that disrespect. So let
Yeah.
us address it like, hey, honey, love you, but I am still
Exactly.
not available at this time. So next time you're
Right.
telling me that I should not even pick up at this time, even if it is an emergency,
Yes.
but you have
Yes.
not respect. If I don't express it and be consistent about it, it
Hmm.
means that what? How do you want to see it? Aggressive, passive?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if I don't put the rule, then I am reinforcing
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
different from what I am telling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember we all have our own autonomy to feel however we feel, and you get to feel how you want to feel about my boundaries, right? You get to feel however, and I respect that. It doesn't change my boundaries because you don't like it, right? So if you call me at 8:02 4 times and I don't answer outside of an emergency, because if it's an emergency, truly normally, especially people in our life or circle, they know how to get us, right?
Yes,
Like there's gonna be six people calling us, and we're like, oh, wait. And for our emergency people, maybe your kids or your spouse, they can get through my phone,
yes.
but work and business, that's not an emergency right now.
Hmm.
Because as an emergency, if my client is having an emergency, they need to go to the hospital.
Yes. I
I
have
can't fix
I
that.
have this friend. We used to work together till today. She can call me 4 times and I don't pick up, or
Mhm.
I can call her 4 times. If she doesn't pick up, we understand that when she's
Exactly.
available or when I'm available. But when I put 911 or when she puts 911, that's another, we all know that, okay, this is urgent. And
Mhm.
I do my best to be like, okay, oh, she did 911. I have
Exactly.
I have two
You have a
minutes. Let me
code.
call back.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's our code and we get it.
Exactly.
She can call me 4 times. I don't pick up. When she puts 911, I'm like, oh, let me find one
Yep.
minute. Or
Mhm.
if I put 911, she understands the
Exactly.
thing. And you said something. It it is my boundary. It is
Mhm.
your boundary.
Mhm.
Just said it.
Mhm.
I am a
Mhm.
morning person. Sometimes you wake up to 5 messages from me.
Mhm.
And I know you are not a morning
Mhm.
person or
Mhm.
my own kind of morning person because
Mhm.
five, six, I am.
Uh-huh. Not me. Oh.
Now then 5, 6 p.m., honey,
Mhm.
I'll
Mhm.
be
Yep.
like
Mhm.
but
And
five
that's when I'm texting her or something 6, 7, exactly.
different time zones. But when
Exactly.
I'm texting you in the morning, do I expect you to answer?
Mm.
No. It's
Mm.
like, let me update you with what I have,
Exactly.
XYZ, XYZ. And when you're responding back, you also know that it's not
Exactly.
I may not respond, but you know that
Absolutely.
we will find a common ground. We are
Absolutely.
just for updates, updates,
Yeah.
updates. We'll
Yeah.
find a common ground and
Mhm.
meet. And so, oh,
And we're on the same page. We're not upset with each other. Like, girl, you didn't respond.
no,
No. And if it's
no,
something where
because
we
she's
need
sleeping.
something urgent, we will say that because we communicate and be like, hey, Mercy, as soon as you can, I need you to call me. Or
Right.
Angela, as soon as you can, or we need to get this done tonight, or whatever that is, that's called communication.
Communication. And I'm
Mhm.
giving you
Mhm.
updates on my own end and
Yeah.
you're giving me updates on your own end.
Yeah.
And we know that if this has to be sealed today, by evening we
Mhm.
are all free. Let's jump on a call. 5 minutes. You got
Exactly.
5 minutes, let's do
Yep.
this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
communication. We are communicating
Absolutely.
all day through messages, through email, and giving the other space for when they are
Yes.
available to
Yes.
fill in their thoughts. That's
Yes.
respectful of time. That's
Mhm.
understanding the other's preferences, and that's
Mhm.
knowing that
Yeah.
everybody has their boundaries and life goes on.
It's okay. And the thing is, if you don't have boundaries, then I start to question how well are you? Because boundaries are a requirement. You can't go to the bank at 8 p.m. and walk in there and go be like, I need some money. What you gonna bust the door open? They're gonna be like, girl, you're going to jail. Like everybody has boundaries. Businesses have boundaries. You can't, I need to mail this letter and post office like, we're closed. They're like, no, you're gonna mail it right now. That's not how it
Somebody said
works.
boundaries, boundaries, self-love and self-care.
A
Yeah.
thousand percent. A thousand
Our
percent.
relationship, how others
And
treat you.
yes.
Wonderful.
And if we allow that, back to what Mercy said, our consistency and our speaking up for ourselves and advocating and saying, I love you and I'm creating this because I have to be well for me so I can show up well for you.
If you don't have boundaries, it means you don't have a life.
Come on now,
Yep.
right? You
Love.
live for
Thank
other
you
people.
so
That's
much
what it is.
for the interacting and everything.
Yes.
Someone said, I like the non. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I put 911, she knows that, okay,
Hmm.
I don't have time, but I have 1 minute for her. Let's see
Right.
what's going on. Yes.
Right. And
Oh,
remember, when you're living for others, it's so important to make sure that you evaluate yourself. What's the reason I'm living for others? So I don't have boundaries. People can just get to me whenever. And then I'm upset that you did this to me, but I never communicated boundaries. So what are you upset with what you've allowed other people to do to you?
right. Right. And maybe it's
Ye-
something that you've allowed for some time. And like I
Yep.
said before, I could take some people making me feel tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you leave feeling good, and I leave feeling ill or unwell
Hmm.
of myself.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I have learned to know that I don't have to.
You don't have to.
It
Right.
can be any person. If I
Yep.
could not be at peace, then maybe we
Yes.
don't need each other.
Yes, absolutely. And so, you guys, when you're looking at doing your own WDEP, I want you to ask yourself these questions. What do I really want? Don't leave it amiss. Don't leave it so big. Be specific. What do I want? Truly. And
Mm-hmm.
then what am I doing about my want?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What am I actually doing? Or I'm just saying things amiss. I'm just saying, oh, that would be nice, or that would be nice, right? What am I actually doing? And
Yeah.
then evaluate.
Somebody said we have to introspect and be honest with ourselves.
Absolutely. So let's evaluate. Am I truly being honest and true to myself? This want that I have, is it about others in a sense? I want to be better for them. Well, don't you want to be better for you?
Oh, I'm glad you say that. Is it about others? So, is your wellness journey trying to make others well?
Yeah. And not
Or
even you?
you
Mm-mm.
well? I am happy you
That's
said
not sustainable, y'all. It's not.
no. It's not. If it keeps wanting to make others well, at some point, think about it. It means that you're probably seeking external validation.
Mm-hmm.
If your wellness just involve making others well all the time and it's not even about you, you're probably seeking external validation, and that will not be sustainable because you will continue being unwell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And external validation or extrinsic validation, that's not what sustains a human. It's the internal. That's why you can see people that they may be doing so well and they're like, oh, it's great. And they're like, I'm so unhappy. But you got a good job, or it looks like your marriage is good, or you make a lot of money, and they're like, and I'm miserable
We see many of them.
all the time.
We see many of them, and we are like, why is this person not happy?
Hmm.
Your kids are doing great. You got a
Hmm.
wonderful job. You got a good life situation going on. Why is this person not? And it's not a hormonal issue.
Hmm.
Why is this person not happy?
Hmm.
Sometimes when you dig deeper, it's because somebody has not told them that, oh, you're beautiful.
Hmm.
Not told them that, oh, I love you.
Hmm.
Somebody has not told them that,
Hmm.
wonderful today. You have a lot going on for you.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
you're not able, and ego sometimes is not the same as self pride. When you're not able to say,
Mhm.
I have good going on. I
Yep.
have Miss Angela. I have a good support network,
Right.
a good support system.
I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
does. It's not about financial validation. I've seen many miserable rich people financially,
Thousand
and I've
percent.
seen
Mhm.
very happy people who live very modest and average life.
Absolutely.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not only about finances. Most of the time we think it's finances.
It's not.
But
Yeah.
once you can tell yourself, I am not there yet, don't say I
Mhm.
am not there.
Mhm.
Add the yet to it
Yeah.
because it reinforces your journey to keep going.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
what I want. I am not there yet. I am
Mhm.
doing what I can to do. And you
Mhm.
reevaluate, do I still want to stay on this path or
Mhm. Mhm.
another path?
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
network suck. Let me try to find better
Yeah.
network systems.
Yes.
I don't have time for myself. Let me see how I can create some time for myself.
Yes. Right?
My kids are not doing good. Let me reach out to their counselors, to their
Yep.
teachers, and see how collectively we can get them up to par. You
Yep.
are reshaping. You don't
Mhm.
need anybody from outside to say, "Oh,
Mhm.
I love this shirt," for you to already
Exactly.
know for you love the shirt.
Right.
And it
Right.
may be so full of you that even when someone criticizes you from outside, it doesn't hurt. Remember, one speaker said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside will not hurt you.
Yeah.
If you already
Yes.
don't
I
feel
love that.
low, if you already have not crossed out yourself, somebody
Yeah.
crosses you out from outside, it will not hurt you.
I love that. And I think remembering as we pull all this together and come to a close with wellness and even that activity, there's many activities, right? But nothing changes outside if nothing changes inside. Your internal wellness is a direct guide for everything around you. And if you are doing it for others, if we're living for everyone else, if we're seeking that, it's not sustaining. Internal wellness, that's all you have. Think about it. It's you against you, and you're stuck with you for the rest of your life. Okay?
I
You
like
wake up with you go to bed, it doesn't matter who's next to you. This body, this one great body we have, to get you up. You look in the mirror, your thoughts, your feelings. So in wellness is internal first. And yes, it benefits other people we love. Great. But start with you. Nothing changes until you change. And you have the capacity and the capability and the greatness within you to do so. Viola Davis said, there's no prerequisite for worthiness. You were born worthy. I think it's so powerful. And when we talk about wellness, it's already there. It's just implementation and figuring out and quieting all the noise external and focusing on you. You're the prize, honey. I love it.
Ooh, this is all, well, not all, but this is my take from today's
Yeah.
podcast. This is my take. What you just said.
Yeah.
Internal, well, it starts with you. You are the prize.
Mhm.
You are the win. Internal wellness
Yep.
sustainable. If I have gotten one, and I hope this blessed someone as well.
Yeah.
If I have got one thing today, if I got one thing today in this podcast, is what you just said.
Mhm.
Internal wellness is sustainable,
Yes.
and it is truly sustainable, you all. That is what makes it powerful. That is what makes wellness powerful.
Absolutely.
The outside or the external things may be in turmoil, but once your internal wellness, you're
Yeah.
internally grounded. When wellness
Mhm.
comes from within, it is
Yes.
rooted in self-awareness, it
Yep.
is rooted in emotional balance, and it is rooted in intrinsic motivation.
Mhm.
Meaning, you may call me bad names all day. You may tell me how bad I am. But if I can internally motivate myself,
Yes.
I can become less reliant on
Yes.
external circumstances and
We
more,
become unstoppable.
yes, and
That's
more
it.
resilient to
Yep.
life's challenges.
1000%.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I can
I love
rely
it.
less on what is happening externally because I know that my inside is
Mhm.
resilient, is ready to go to war.
Yep.
Internal wellness is
Yes.
sustainable. I'm done.
I love it. Yes. Yes. Well,
If we continue this, it will spoil what I
it'll
just.
be, no, we're going to continue to talk on our next podcast. Keep a lookout. Wellness is the goal. We are going to continue to give you practical tips, real top tips, and transparency on our own struggles and what we do because wellness truly begets wellness. And we want to make sure everyone's out there being
We
unstoppable.
are born word. Yes.
Yes, we love it. So thank you for joining us and taking time out of your Sunday that you could have been doing anything and you chose to hang out with us. So we are humbled and appreciative of that.
Wow. Nothing
Yeah,
changes from outside if nothing changes from inside. I'm glad
absolutely.
you're getting the feedback. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much for spending
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Look
Yeah.
forward to the week. You're gonna do
Yes.
great. There may be that little anxiety inside, like, oh, you know how people
Mhm.
are happy on Friday and
Yeah.
not happy on Sunday. Don't be
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah. They're like Monday blues. I'm like, Monday is just Monday, honey.
Just Monday. Look forward to it. See what Monday can do for you. See what
Mhm.
Monday can put on your plate. And
Yes.
and you cannot change it anyway. So
Right. Monday's coming whether you want it to or
whether you
not.
want it or not, and
And
show
we're
up,
thankful it is.
be thankful because what is
Mhm.
the alternative of it?
Mhm.
You don't
Yeah.
like Monday. What if you don't meet Monday?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't like Monday. What if you don't
Mhm.
have nothing to do on Monday? How do you pay your bill?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
don't like so think of the alternative. It's coming
Absolutely.
anyway. Be grateful that
Absolutely.
you get to see it, not you have to see it. Be
Yeah.
grateful that you get to see the
Yes.
new week starting, not that oh
Yeah.
I have to see it. It's different. Our choices are
Yes.
different. Thank you all
You're
so
welcome. Bye, y'all.
so much. Thank you all so much. Bye bye.